On today's video, we are talking recovery and specifically the three biggest things that you can do straight after a run that'll impact the way you recover and make sure that you arrive for your next training session in tip-top shape. My name is Brad. I'm from CoachParry.com, where we help you become fitter, faster, and stronger. And I'm joined by our head coach today, Lindsay Parry, to talk about recovery and why it's so important and what you can do straight after your next run to make sure that you recover to the fullest extent. Welcome back, Coach. We're talking recovery today, and recovery is vital. We put a video together not so long ago about often what it is that you leave out of a training program is just as important as what you put in. But let's talk about recovery, and you've got a few really good tips on ways to recover and how you can actually do it properly. Give us those tips, Lindsay.
Cool. Let's just quickly give a very quick summary of why recovery is important, and very simply put is that the improvements from the hard training that we are doing happen during the recovery. So that's very much in a nutshell exactly why it is really important, and there are things that we can do that will speed up or help our bodies to cope better and therefore recover better before we do the next thing. So these I've kind of put in order of how you will do them rather than in order of importance. They're all important, so try to get them all done each time, but this is more or less in the order that you do it. So the harder you train, the more important your cool down becomes as part of that recovery process. And so when you do extremely hard, intense workouts, you want to do some very, very light jogging / walking. If you've done longer runs or coming in from a training run, always try and walk for a minute or two just to bring that heart rate down slowly. So we're still circulating the blood through the muscles, but we're really just helping the whole system slow down. As you finish that process, the next two you can probably do simultaneously, and that's that you want to hydrate, take in some good quality recovery. I almost said products, but that's not what I mean. I mean, in that period, within 30 minutes of exercise, you want to be taking in some sugars. And as we get older, this part becomes more important, but it's always important, and that is to take in some good quality proteins. And it's probably easier for your body to do both of these in liquid form. It is not absolutely necessary. You can take in solids in those 30 minutes, particularly if you're using water to hydrate. And then finally, you want to stretch. So it's really bring your heart rate down, settle your body down with some kind of walk or very, very light jogging, and then sit down and stretch. And while you're sitting down to stretch, make sure that you have got some sugars and proteins at your disposal to speed up that recovery after workouts.
Can you give us an example of what a good recovery drink will be? I know you're a huge fan of chocolate milk, and why half an hour? Why is that 30-minute period so important?
Yeah, so the 30-minute window is actually quite critical, particularly for the sugars, but as we get older, it also becomes very important for the protein. So when we're younger, you can probably, your body can still use those proteins very effectively outside of that half an hour window. So let me break it down just to make it a little bit simpler. So during exercise, we have what are called gated channels, and those are channels through which the body takes sugar out of the blood through the membranes and pushes them into the muscles where they are needed most. Those gated channels are very sensitive during exercise, but they close down and draw that sugar into the muscles much slower once you get outside that half an hour window. So every 15 minutes, essentially, our body's ability to replace the muscle glycogen in particular decreases by roughly a multiplier of 50. So 50% less efficient as we go, and therefore 45 minutes to 60 minutes after exercise, it becomes very difficult for our bodies to reload that muscle glycogen. And then we need the proteins to help repair the damage that we've done to the muscles. Now, as I said, when we're young, that's fine. We can replace that protein a little bit later. But as you get older and your body becomes more catabolic, we need the proteins within that half an hour, because the protein and the stimulus that your body gets from introducing those proteins into the muscle actually stops your body from breaking down that muscle and kickstarts the processes for starting to replace that muscle. So that is why that half an hour window becomes really important, and it becomes more important the older we get.
And I mentioned an example, and I said chocolate milk. Is there anything better than a glass of chocolate milk as a recovery drink?
Look, chocolate milk is great because it's milk, and milk contains a particular amino acid, leucine, which is especially important for the process I've just spoken about in older athletes. And of course, chocolate milk has also got plenty of sugar. So you've got milk sugars, you've got the sugars from the chocolate milk, and you are giving your body some protein. You probably do need to provide some extra protein over and above that, but that's a great way to kickstart the process. As I said before, we can use solid foods. You can chop up fruits, do things like a fruit salad or a smoothie. And with a smoothie is great because you can actually add in whey powders and some leucine into that smoothie. So that's a really cracking way of doing it. And then, of course, there are loads of sports drinks on the market. And because the first 30 minutes is so forgiving, it literally goes into the bloodstream and into the muscles, you can do that with fluids. And then that obviously helps you with the other part of this, which is hydrating after exercise. So, the sports drinks that you buy in the shop, have a look on the back, make sure they've got the right sugars in them, and make sure that they have got some proteins in them, or maybe it's two separate drinks. But those are really the best ways you can do it.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget, if you would like to improve the way you run, make sure you download our free strength training plan. You can do that by clicking here. If you want to check out some of our other resources, our most popular video is over here. You can watch our latest video over here, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. All you need to do is click on this button over here.